Hi there. Welcome to Apple World, from the brilliant lights of distinction to the profundities of hopelessness. Pete Davidson, an eminent figure, bears his spirit and offers his moving excursion of recovering his life through psychological wellness recuperation. Prepare for a crude and unfiltered discussion that will leave you propelled, engaged, and having faith in the force of mending. Some of you may realize I was, as of late, determined to have a marginal behavioral condition for anybody managing it. There are medicines that can assist famous humorists, and previous Saturday Night with Living Cast Part P. Davidson has, as of late, stood out as truly newsworthy subsequent to registering himself for recovery for emotional well-being treatment. News reports show that Davidson, known for his openness about emotional wellness battles in the past, has found a way to focus on his prosperity while explicit insights regarding his condition remain undisclosed. Davidson's choice to look for proficient assistance merits tribute. His activities represent a guiltless part of psychological well-being care, recognizing one's battles and effectively seeking after help by perceiving the requirement for treatment and making this valiant stride. Davidson sets a significant model for others confronting comparative difficulties. It highlights the meaning of mindfulness, taking care of oneself, and the readiness to look for help at last, advancing the destigmatization of emotional wellness and encouraging a better society. Davidson's set of experiences of psychological well-being as a prestigious entertainer, Pete Davidson, has stood out as truly newsworthy as reports affirm his willful passage into recovery for emotional wellness worries, while the points of interest in his condition remain undisclosed. Davidson's gutsy decision to look for proficient assistance merits by straightforwardly recognizing his battles and effectively seeking after help. He sets a strong example for others confronting comparative difficulties. His activities highlight the significance of mindfulness, which focuses on taking care of oneself and embracing the readiness to look for help, all of which contribute to diminishing the shame encompassing psychological wellness. Davidson's choice not only means self-awareness, but additionally fills in as an impetus for building a more humane and understanding society. The significance of looking for help and discouragement influences more than 16 million individuals in this nation. However, for anyone managing it, there are medicines that can help. Most importantly, assuming that you believe you're discouraged, you should see a specialist and converse with them about prescriptions, and furthermore, be smart. Dieting right and exercising can have an immense effect. Davidson's decision to enter recovery features the meaning of expert help with tending to psychological well-being difficulties. It's a strong update that emotional wellness issues can influence anybody, no matter what their experience, occupation, or cultural status, by effectively assisting people with showing strength and, what's more, mindfulness in perceiving that their prosperity is fundamentally setting out on them. Way to recuperate requires boldness and assurance. Looking for proficient assistance for psychological well-being issues is an enabling choice, since it recognizes the requirement for particular help and assets that experts can provide. Emotional wellness experts have the information and skills to analyze and treat different emotional wellness conditions. They offer a safe and non-critical space for people to investigate their feelings, contemplations, and ways of behaving, empowering them to acquire further bits of knowledge about their difficulties. The advantages of recovery restoration programs provide people with the devices and assets they need to address their emotional wellness challenges and advance prosperity. These projects offer an organized and strong climate where people can focus on their psychological well-being and set out on an excursion of healing and recovery. One of the vital parts of recovery programs is treatment meetings. These meetings, conducted by prepared experts like specialists or guides, permit people to investigate their considerations, feelings, and ways of behaving in a safe and non-critical space through different remedial methodologies. People can acquire insights into their psychological well-being conditions, foster survival techniques, and work towards accomplishing their treatment objectives. Advising is one more pivotal component of restoration programs. It furnishes people with customized direction and backing, assisting them with exploring their difficulties and reaching informed conclusions about their psychological well-being. Guides can offer useful counsel, basic reassurance, and devices for taking care of oneself, enabling people to do a functioning job in their recuperation process. The force of receptiveness, Davidson's decision to straightforwardly impart his excursion to people in general, has significantly affected the continuous talk encompassing emotional wellness in a general public where shame and misinterpretations encompassing psychological well-being are as yet common. Davidson's fortitude in examining his battle plays had a critical impact on decreasing the disgrace related to psychological well-being issues by sharing his encounters. Davidson effectively establishes a climate where people feel more happy when looking for assistance. Many individuals are wondering whether or not to connect for help because of the feeling of dread toward judgment and cultural kickback. Anyway, when somebody like Davidson, who is commonly known and regarded, transparently examines his emotional wellness challenges, it sends a strong message that looking for help isn't an indication of shortcoming or disappointment. This message assists with breaking down the boundaries that keep people from looking for the help they need. Besides, Davidson's straightforwardness encourages a more noteworthy comprehension and sympathy toward those confronting psychological wellness challenges. By sharing his excursion, Davidson gives insight into the intricacy of emotional well-being and the battles that people might confront. This expanded understanding assists with exposing normal, misguided judgments and generalizations encompassing psychological maladjustment, prompting additional sympathy and backing from society. Eventually, Davidson's choice to share his encounters standardizes emotional well-being discussions. The significance of taking care of oneself and looking into recovery for an emotional wellness treatment is a fearless and praiseworthy demonstration featuring taking care of one's self-importance in a general public that frequently derides psychological wellness issues. Choosing to focus on one's prosperity shows strength and flexibility by looking for proficient assistance and entering a recovery office. People recognize that their psychological wellness is pretty much as significant as their actual well-being. Dealing with one's psychological prosperity ought to be a main concern since it directly influences all parts of life. Psychological wellness influences our feelings, contemplations, conduct, and, in general,